Well, good morning or good afternoon, depending upon the case, and welcome to our webinar. We're going to give everyone just another second to finish logging and connecting. All righty, we're going to go ahead and get started with our webinar, Partnership to Pipeline, what businesses need from schools to build high-impact CTE internships. And again, thank you so much for joining us. So I'm Heather Sherburn, and I am the Academic Officer for SchoolDay Academy. I'm a lifelong educator who recently retired as an Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction and Technology in California. And I'm really happy that you're here to join us today as we can learn from different leaders who have partnered with school districts in their business and help us learn how their internship program is working so that we can build on those great practices. So thank you so much for joining. On our panel, we have today Bryan, Roos, and Rob Stuebing, and I'll let them introduce themselves in a second. Mike King, unfortunately, had something come up and wasn't able to join us, but we're going to have a lot of great conversation. So, Bryan, let's start with you. Can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. My name is Bryan Roos. I work for Denver Public Schools. I am the intern and apprentice coordinator for our hardware repair team. I've been in district for 7 years, and I've been in my current position for 3. I'm extremely proud to be here today to support what this is doing.
Great, thank you. And Rob, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, Heather. And as Bryan said, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Rob Stuebing. I'm currently the General Manager, Vice President of Technetics Group Chicago. We are designer and manufacturer of mechanical sealing devices for aerospace, space, and industrial. I facilitate what we refer to as the Technology Council for our local high school areas, which is in the Chicagoland area. It's Leyden High Schools. I serve as the chair of that group and very interested and I guess appreciative to have an opportunity to talk about the success we've had. I've personally been in manufacturing for 35 years, actually started my career out of high school. So happy to be here today and look forward to the discussion.
Wow, that's great. So thanks so much. So today is about hearing directly from you all, business leaders, about what works and what doesn't work and what you all actually need as business partners from school districts to help make the internship experience really successful. So to start, I think that many educators wonder something simple but important, like why would a business choose to invest time and resources into high school interns in the first place? You know, some businesses report that they have a built-in pipeline for talent development. Others report that it's more about a community investment and access to fresh perspectives and innovation. But we'd love to hear from each of you about your reason for saying yes to internships initially. Like what originally motivated you to offer these internships, and was it driven more by your workforce needs, your community, or something else? How about we start with you, Rob?
Well, yeah, I would say selfishly, it's the workforce needs. Um, in manufacturing, there has been a serious decline in the trades that are required. And selfishly, I'm in metal removal, so typically machine shop environment. However, it goes across all trade groups. The schools, many years when I was in high school, had all your CTE courses from small engines to metal shop to plumbing to woodworking. There was a decline in all that. Matter of fact, a lot of the school districts removed those programs. And I think industry at large is feeling the loss there because there was a gap, I'll call it, where talent was not being introduced into the trades and the arts that run our country. So
Hmm.
selfishly, what we found was the best way to go about replenishing our pipeline was to try and capture young minds and hearts, introduce them into the opportunities that present themselves within manufacturing. And this was a perfect pathway. If you could get them what we refer to as a small ball of clay before they've made any decisions in their life, give them an opportunity and or exposure to another area other than being the next professor or doctor or lawyer. And please don't get me wrong, those are needed necessities in our world, but I think the numbers of those in comparison to the numbers that are in the working environment are much less. So it was our way of grabbing those young minds and introducing them to a whole nother world. Not necessarily saying do not go on to further education, but like some of us did many years ago, work while you're doing so to broaden not only your knowledge, book smart wise, but also technically. So
Hmm.
hopefully that kind of
Yeah.
sheds a little light on my selfishness.
Yeah. No, I think that's great and so important. Bryan, what can you share about why you have a yes with a partnership?
Absolutely. I'm in the same vein as Rob. We're looking to get a school to either college or work pipeline in DPS. And like Rob said, it gives the kids a chance to try something out that they might not have been able to before. Real low stakes, real high potential, meaning the kids can come to our program during school hours. They take it as a class, they learn on the job, but there's no, how do I say this? They're not going to lose their house. They're not going to lose food with this. It's all beneficial to the students. And being in a school district, we have an ample supply of scholars that we can pull from. And it's just an amazing opportunity for the kids to try things they may never get a chance to try again.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Um, so, not all internships are created equal. Some are really transformational and set up and designed well, which is what, of course, we would want for all of our internship programs out there, right? But others are kind of just observational, and that's not exactly the quality that we're hoping for. We really want our students, who are working in internships, to have these high quality experiences. So, could you talk about your experiences that you let your interns have there? What makes it really meaningful and not just a passive experience for them? And how intentionally are you structuring your program to accomplish this? And we'll start with Bryan.
Sure, absolutely. Our scholars that we work with in Denver Public Schools on our intern and apprentices, they actually do projects for our team. My specific team is the MyTech hardware repair team. We fix all Chromebooks in district. Some of the projects that we send the kids out on, last year we had a student get all of our CMAS, so the Colorado testing devices ready for elementary schools. I did not tell them the scope of the project, just I need you to fix these. Young scholar got 300 devices ready, and every one of our elementary schools is ready to go. Meaningful rather than passive, the scholars are actually affecting what we do in district and allowing other staff to focus on other things.
Wow, so it makes a big difference to the workload that you have,
Absolutely,
and
yes.
while they're gaining valuable experience. So that's awesome. Rob, how about the meaningful experiences that your interns have?
So what we've done is partnered directly with the high schools, and we actually start at spring break. So we will do field trips and or internships, meaning that the student during their spring break will come to work for us typically about 6 hours a day, and they will do a shadow through all the different environments within our organization. That's kind of the introduction, and that's what we're hoping will enlighten them to opportunities outside of school once they become, a viable adult and have to decide where their working path takes them. We then, from that, hope that those students have gained interest, and then that summer, typically junior year of high school, they will come to work for us full time during the summer. That starts with an actual interview process. So they come in and they interview with myself, the leaders of our organization. So we want to see their soft skills. We want to see their desire to come to work for us. If possible, we ask for their parent to come as well, because we have found that exposure to the parents of what we are offering for their future has been very beneficial. Parents tend to sometimes get a little cautious because they want their child to go to school following their high school, and we are not by any means advising that that is not the path. In fact, as an employer, we have tuition reimbursement and have put numerous students through a 4-year education coming out with a bachelor's degree. If that all works, then they return again their summer of their senior year when they become full-time employees. So it's kind of how the pipeline works. And then we have a very structured apprentice program recognized through the state of Illinois that encompasses on-the-job training of, I think, some close to 4,000 hours, 3 years of curricular study in blueprint reading, machining, and things of that. And then they get recognized under the state of Illinois as a journeyman machinist.
Wow. And so they start that in after their senior year, that apprenticeship?
When they come out of high school and decide to come to work for us full time, yes, that is correct.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thanks so much. One of the most helpful things for district leaders is hearing specifically what students are doing when they arrive. So I know you talked a little bit about it, but can you get real specific and walk us through some actual tasks or projects that your students complete? And what kind of tools or technology are they getting to use and getting exposure with? And why don't we start with Rob?
So during that initial onset where they are round robining between the different facets of our organization, so they will do what we call inspection of product, where they are using soft skills as well as understanding measuring equipment up to and including computer aided measuring equipment. But the students will have an opportunity to use micrometers, calipers, various things that are utilized. Then they'll move to our assembly department where they will be exposed to actually assembling products. Uh, During their younger years, there is limitations on the equipment that they can and cannot use, governed by the state of Illinois, and I'm sure every state in the union has regulations. So we have to be careful. We can't, do the full open to all. But anything that
Sure.
they are allowed to do, we will actually let them do hands-on experience and exposure to those skill sets. That includes documenting the work that they're doing, following work procedures. So they're being exposed to kind of the rules of the road, I guess you would say. And then they move to a different facet throughout the organization. And that, there's only so much you can feed them in a 5-day work week, but they are kind of given the opportunity to basically be an employee as they would should they come full hire.
Wow, that's fantastic. And Bryan, you already gave us one great example of the Chromebook setup, but can you share some more?
Yeah, absolutely. So my program runs a lot like Rob's, where the kids get the experience of being a full-fledged employee with segments. Um, our scholars in DPS, they check in our Chromebooks, they diagnose them. They don't order the parts. We have a staff member do that to make sure that's proper. But they do repair, they close out maintenances in our inventory system. They box the units up and they ship them out to schools. The only thing that they don't have is one-on-ones with their supervisor because I meet with the children. Um, Tasks and projects that the kids do, anything and everything, as long as there's a staff member to support them and make sure the project is going well. To give you an example, right now, one of my apprentices is actually at her high school helping her building technician do senior check-in for all their Chromebooks. Gives a little bit of lift on the school. The scholar gets some experience helping out. And like Rob mentioned, we gain the soft skills of working with the employees, but also their peers, the students. And it just gives them an advantage when they finish out.
Wow, those are great. Thank you so much. So schools often focus on the technical skills that they want to get the kids ready with, and that's valuable, I'm sure, for helping them be prepared to go into the internship. But employers will often say that those durable skills are equally important, or we call them soft skills, perhaps. So when you're selecting students, what skills really matter the most to you all? And if districts could focus on improving one thing, what advice would you give? Bryan, how about you go first?
This is an interesting one because I've had this chat with some staff members in DPS about this. For me, the one skill that kids could focus on would be communication. Um, Big one, letting people know when you're going to be at the office. When will you be late? What's going on with your current project? How are you feeling? Um, are things going well? Are things going bad? Big thing with communication is that as the supervisor for the scholars, I need to understand what they're going through and where they are so I can help them get to where I need them to be as an employee. Um, yeah, communication would probably be the biggest one. I've noticed a lot of scholars will sort of tell me what they think I want to hear rather than what's actually going on because they feel that they may be in trouble, something may be bad, rather than we're just trying to solve a problem together as a team.
Hmm. Thank you. And Rob.
Yeah, I would echo a lot of what Bryan mentioned. I think that the communication is extremely critical, and we're also looking for kind of self-starters, people that don't necessarily want to be a wallflower, but want to be engaged, want to be involved. Our ultimate goal, of course, is to release their full potential. And to Bryan's point, if they're not communicative, if you're not getting feedback, they're more just receiving direction and kind of being quiet. It's hard to really understand their full potential. We really work very hard on communication, eliminating any barriers that they don't feel comfortable to just have that open-minded discussion.
And you both have said that you work with them on communication and how important and valuable that is. Um, can you tell us a little bit about what do you do to help work with them on it? Because that could perhaps give our district some feedback on how they could go about this more. Bryan?
Absolutely. A lot of the times, I work with high school scholars. A lot of the times, the scholars who come into our office have very difficult times making eye contact when they're talking, not swerving around in their chair when they're trying to communicate with their supervisor, or basic email writing. To give you an example, I've been here for 7 years now. When I first started, a couple of the emails I got were, "Hi, I'm going to be late. Who are you? What are you going to be late for? What time are you supposed to be here?" Stuff that we take for granted as adults that we know. Um, it's yeah, it was very. I laugh about it now. At the time, I was a little perturbed about it, but it's helping the kids grow, helping them get to where they need to be, so we can, like Rob said, when we release them, they're good. They're good to go. They're self-sustaining. They're self-fulfilling, and they understand what a work ethic is.
Yeah. And so is that really like an individual conversations that you're having a lot with the students
Yep.
versus something more formal?
Yep. So I coach them one on one. We do email writing together. We look over resumes. We do mock interviews. Anything I can to support them that I didn't have when I was younger, so they're a little bit better off than I was. In DPS, in my job, I do run a 2-day training course for the kids, and it's interview writing. It's how you approach someone, how you shake someone's hand, how you sit at a table, where you sit at the table when you sit down for a meeting. One of the funny things is we had a scholar who wore a lab coat every day to school. When he came to the office, it was him and I know you want to wear this. We have an office uniform. This is something you might have to be aware of when you get to a real job, that you can't just show up wearing khaki shorts and a ripped up tie-dye shirt. Um, what are the social norms, stuff like that. I do a lot of one-on-ones with the kids, and then we also send the scholars out to work with other staff members, and then we gain the staff members' input and adjust our processes from there.
Great. Thank you. And Rob?
Again, echoing a lot of what Bryan had mentioned. And one of the things that we've done at our council, the council that of course supports the instructors at the schools that we work with, we've talked pretty in-depthly about these issues. And what the instructors have started to do is a lot of what Bryan is doing: how to write a resume, how to be sure that if you've gone in for an interview and you've left a phone number and or an email, that you are checking your phone and you are being responsive. We have a practice here at our facility where we do what's called a check-in and a check-out. So we require them, when they're here, to check in with their supervisors to understand what the tasks is that they are to be assigned and to get done. And then they are to check out, meaning that they don't just walk out the door, that they say, I've completed this task or I've left this halfway accomplished. So that's been a tool that has helped us kind of break down that barrier. I hate to say it, and we're all guilty of it, but with today's technology, and we all have a little computer in our pocket, that there tends to be a desire to text small little meaningless things. As Bryan said, you get a text from someone, you don't recognize the number, you don't know what they're saying. Communication has changed to acronyms, and we try to break them of those habits. We tell them to stay off of their phones. We try to get them to communicate the best we can. It's a struggle with today's younger generation. I'll be honest, it's a struggle with some of our employees who've been here for 30 years, but we do the best we can. And I think teaching the schools continuing to have the instructors help us in industry by, creating resumes, understanding how important it is that maybe after an interview that you send a follow-up thank you letter, all the professionalisms that I think could potentially give that student one step up versus another candidate that possibly came from another avenue.
Right. Thank you so much. So let's shift away from the students and talk about the systems a little bit. Strong partnerships usually depend upon how the district operates with you. So what makes it easy to partner with the district? What does this best partnership look like? How do we help districts that are on our call today, help them learn these are the things that they can do to be the best partner possible to build, sustain, and attract these high quality partnerships like you all have? Rob, you want to start?
Yeah, I think I'm not an expert on school districts, so please forgive me if I step out of line here, but I think it starts at the top with the superintendent. We happen to be very blessed in the district that we work in, all the way up to the top. We have full support. I mentioned a little earlier about the disbanding of programs within schools. I think those schools that are in areas that have a large need in the trades of today's world, manufacturing, food industries, anywhere that there is a desire. I mean, we all drive down the street and see the help wanted signs everywhere. Um, it needs to start at the top, and they need to rejuvenate all the programs and bring those programs up to today's standards. It's easy to do if you have an advisory council, if you can get a group of businesses that can get together and help share, what's lacking in today's world, a lot of what we've already discussed today. And then we need the schools to embrace that and then basically do something about it. I'm a little spoiled. I'm on the receiving end of an outstanding school district, and actually in the state of Illinois, within the manufacturing sector, there has been a large push on rebuilding machine tool programs, machine shops within the high schools. Today's high school machine shops basically resemble what a small machine shop looks like in today's real world. And I've seen it on the culinary side. I've seen it on the plumbing and electrical side. We need that to continue. We need to open up the eyes of our youth and show them that there is a lot more in this world. I mean, we are the United States of America, and I don't want to get on my pledge here, but we need to rebuild this country, and we need to rebuild the labor that makes this country great.
Great, thank you. Bryan.
I think it's going to be a theme of today, but I'm going to echo what Rob said. I am blessed and privileged to be in a district where my superintendent is really rallying behind the school to work or college success pipeline. But what makes a district easy to partner with, or why would we say yes? We need businesses who are willing to give the kids a shot. We also need a district who is willing to give the kids a chance to leave class to go learn the trade that they might want to be involved in. That might mean cutting a math class at the end of the day to go to a manufacturing plant and learn how to weld, or in Denver, you go up to the airport. It's really opportunities for our scholars, which then turns into a better community for everyone. Because if we can uplift the scholars in our community who are struggling with academics, but more leaning towards the trade, why wouldn't we lean into that to support the people around us?
Great. And how about, do you have any information that you can share with us about some of those logistics things, like how often do you meet with the district leadership that's championing this, and so that you can communicate between the internship program and your industry and what you need, and the district? Who takes on the liability, or how did you come to some of those agreements? Are there some kind of HR type things that you've put together to make this relationship logistically work? Bryan?
Yeah, I'll take this one to start. So Denver Public Schools, again, privileged and blessed to be here. We actually have a department that interfaces with the community to pull in business partners, and they will reach out to staff members who are interested in then hosting students. How often do I meet with them? I could send an email out right now and I'll have a response in about 2 minutes. They are great to work with. If I wanted to, I could have a Google Meet by the end of the day with almost the entire team. They are dedicated, they are committed, and they have the probably largest buy-in I have seen from a school district since I worked in Connecticut for supporting our scholars.
Wow, thanks. And Rob, I know you have a whole council and all of that. How tell us some more about the logistics of that, and how often you meet, and any of the technical kind of things that you've put together.
Yeah, so the council's actually been around for quite some time. I was very lucky to be on the cutting edge of it some 25 years ago. We started out, it was rough and rocky, I'll be honest. And then we, due to the requirements within the school districts, when you go out to replace a machine tool, for example, and that machine tool may be $25,000, it's a requirement, and I don't know the number threshold, but the school district is then required to go out and get 3 bids and et cetera, et cetera. It becomes a very red taped situation. So as the council started to get a little momentum and we started to gain a little more attraction of additional members, got up to about 20 members, we actually formed a non-for-profit. So we actually organized ourselves as the Leyden Technology Council. We are a formalized non-for-profit organization. So we, as selfish employers, selfish meaning that we get the fruits of our labor, and that's the students that come through the program, we give donations to the council. We also do fundraisers throughout the year involving the students at the school. So we print up T-shirts, we do various other things to get student involvement, and of course, selfishly, to raise funds. So that as that kind of started to evolve, we got to where we were meeting on a monthly cadence. So we meet actually at the high school. The instructors provide the structure. So we come in and they've got an agenda on things that they would like to talk about, areas that possibly they need either funding help with and or just some guidance or feedback. We've kind of scaled back. We're on a quarterly schedule now. And that's really not because we didn't want to meet monthly. It's just as things are going quite well, the necessity isn't there. However, as Bryan
Mhm.
said, and it's the same with our council, should an instructor or anybody within the school district need anything, it's a quick email and they probably get 25 responses faster than they can blink. Um,
Wow.
and it's just been a program that continues to work well. It's a good system, and so far we've been blessed that it's continued, and we get additional members to the council almost every year.
Wow. What a testament to the relationships you all have built. I mean, and I think that is key in the underground of everything that you've said. You've established these really strong relationships where you value each other and demonstrate that awesome communication. So that's awesome. Sometimes we learn the most from what doesn't work sometimes. So, what are some of the common struggles or something that would cause a partnership to fail? Maybe make you hesitate about wanting to continue in that partnership? What would you say that districts should avoid at all costs? You want to start, Ryan?
Yeah, I'll go for this one. What causes partnerships to struggle or fail? Lack of communication, lack of level setting or understanding what the business is looking for. From the scholar point of view, they're looking for some support, some guidance. We're dealing with high school students who may have never had a job before. This could be their first experience outside of high school, outside of their own home. Um, what should the district avoid at all costs? Forcing scholars to do something they don't want to, and then
Mm.
forcing partners to take on scholars when they're not ready. And what I mean by that is don't force a business to take on 3 kids if they can only handle one. Let them focus on that one scholar, build that scholar up, and then try again, maybe fall or spring for some additional ones, while also supporting that business and what the district needs. If the district is looking for data that the scholar is doing well, provide the paperwork to the business. Don't ask them to come up with it on their own. Um, and then one big thing I've seen in DPS that works extremely well: site visits. Um, no pressure on the business, no pressure on the scholar, just having staff go see what they're doing. It makes the scholars feel extremely valued that a staff member stopping in to see what they're doing. And it also gives the business a little chance to explain, why is this scholar, say if they're doing manufacturing, why does the scholar have a welding hood on? Like, what's going on with that? What's going on with their daily deal? And then what skills are they learning? And then what causes businesses to hesitate about taking students again? I've seen this in my own personal life here in DPS. Lack of effort on the scholars end while the school still pushes them to work. Uh, it becomes a little bumpy road when we're trying to get the scholars to do something, and then there's just no effort on that end.
Right, right. You can't just keep pushing that square peg in a round hole. Thank you. Rob.
Well, again, I'm very blessed with the situation we have. We have a wonderful pipeline. I guess those educators probably aren't going to want to hear this, especially if some are counselors. Um, I'd say the biggest thing is exposure to what is available to the students other than just graduation and moving to a 4-year education. Um, I think more exposure, as Bryan alluded to, and I would agree 100%, get counselors, get educators out to the potential businesses that are willing to facilitate these opportunities. Let them see some case histories. Let them see, past employees that are now potentially into a full-blown engineering position or a leadership position. We've got high school kids that started here, 15, 18 years ago that are running departments now, making, over $100,000 a year. But yet there still seems to be a disconnect of enlightening parents specifically that there's other avenues for your child to become well educated and well paid in a working position that is going to kind of do the best of both worlds. You're going to be educated as you are experiencing real world environment. I think that sometimes is the missing link. There's just tends to be a big push to get them through school and off to a 4-year. But then when you look at the numbers of people that drop out after year 1, year 2, most of them not knowing what they want to do because they have not had an opportunity to be exposed to the real world.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. So if a student walks into your workplace tomorrow, what should they already know very specifically? And what do you want them to be able to do day one they walk in the door? Rob.
I'd echo a little bit about what we talked about on the skill set side. I say that any student coming in here willing to communicate, willing to listen, have manners, punctuality, we can turn them into a wonderful, wonderful employee.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it is really on us as the, we become the educator at that point. We're educating them on what we want them to do within our working environment. So the only thing I would say that the expectation of a student is a willingness to open up their abilities and really release their human potential to absorb, listen, learn, be polite, be respectful, and most importantly, be safe. From there, we can teach almost anything they need to know to be successful. And the faster they grasp it, their willingness to further their education is all things that are going to put them to that success rate of, high potential.
Great. Bryan.
I wish I went before Rob because that was well put. I don't have much to add. From my point of view, it would be the understanding that the scholar or the student is going to make a mistake, but what do we learn from that mistake? How do we better ourselves when we've done something that doesn't fit right into what the team is looking for? And then how do we then proceed to better ourselves? It's really the willingness to fail and then get back up.
So they need to know how to take that constructive criticism and realize that's a part of growth, that's a part of learning, and that's what they're there for, is to learn a new career.
Absolutely, yes.
That's awesome. Do either of you have any kind of simulations that you think districts should put students through before they send them out to the internship? Bryan?
So I'll take this one first. Thank you. My team, specifically the hardware repair team, we offer field trips to come to our office to do a demo day or two. If scholars are interested, real low stakes, real high potential kids can do everything our normal interns and apprentices do, and then they get to leave at the end of the day. It gives them a trial run of what's going on, and then they get the chance to decide, is this something for me? Or do I want to go, say, do manufacturing with Rob, or move to DIA at the airport and manage that? Trial runs would probably be the best. Yeah.
Awesome. Rob?
Yeah, I would say the same. And that spring break internship, or I really, internship is probably not the right word. That spring break introduction is the way that we were kind of doing that today, Heather. It's our first opportunity for exposure. These are kids that have already been in a metals program or in some CTE program. And it's just, here's the real world. Here's your couple of days to experience it. Is this where you see your future? That would kind of be our introduction and how we would go about it. And then a lot of what echoes or what Bryan said, I think they all need to know up front that we're here to support them. The expectation is not that they come in and change the world. The expectation is that they come in with a willingness to learn. And in that path is going to be failure. We're going to pick you up. We're going to dust you off. And we're going to make sure that you learn from that experience and we're going to move forward.
Thank you. So for partnerships to last, they need to create real value for employers. How do you define success for your internship program, Rob?
well, full success is completion of our full apprentice program, selfishly. One of the things that we've done that has made me extremely proud, and it has been very beneficial to our school, is we have found that when an old guy like me comes and talks to the students, it's not very beneficial. But when I've got a student who has come through the program, maybe is in year one or year two of our apprentice program, and he's making, halfway decent money, and he shows up in a nice brand new car, and he goes back to the school and he entertains listen to the professional, or I forgot the terminology in which our school uses it, ask the professional days or things of that nature. And they speak on the behalf of our company. They speak about how they were sitting in that chair, 1, 2, 3 years ago, and look at me today. Of course, the students ask all the questions you would guess. How much do you make? What do you do?
Mhm.
So a lot of times we'll prepare them with samples of our products. They get to go in and say, hey, see this part? We made this. It's on, the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. It goes up to up in space every day. Things like that. I'd say that's made a big impact to me, and it makes me proud when they can go back and show where they have gotten to in their life.
That's great. And Bryan, how do you define success of your program?
Same vein as Rob. How are the scholars doing after they leave us? What do they then succeed and then go on to? Having the scholars come back to talk to future interns or apprentices has always been great. For me personally, it's taking the transferable skills, communication, punctuality, looking people in the eyes when they talk, and then taking those transferable skills and going to another place and being able to apply them there. It's always a very prideful moment when kids will email me and be like, hey, Mr. Roos, I got my first job. Thank you for this. And my response back is, congratulations. Please call me Bryan, because we're now peers.
Oh,
I again, I wish I went before Rob because he's saying everything I want to say. Yeah.
mhm. Great. Thank you so much. So if you were going to talk about this best partnership that you've been thinking about, what responsibilities were clearly owned by the district that just made this work? Is there one key thing that was their responsibility that came out and made your partnership like, yes, this is going to be it and it's going to work? Bryan?
I'll take this one to start. What did the district do to support me? They were there every step of the way. If I had a question, they were able to answer it. Scholars were onboarded onto our program in an extremely timely manner before they were expected to be here. And scholars are prepared and they understand what they're getting into before they get to our office. That was a hand-in-hand collaboration effort between my team and our Career Connect team, which has paid dividends throughout the years. The onboarding, it's not that in depth. This is what the job is, this is what your schedule looks like, and then this is what the job expects. The scholar signs a little paper. I agree to this. I will do this, just so we have some commitment, some buy-in. But again, back to the original question, it's the support the district has offered every step of the way. Even when things are going smoothly, they check in every once in a while, not only with me, but with the scholar I'm working with, to make sure that my side of the house is good, but the scholar is also gaining what they're looking for out of it.
So they take the lead on that organized structure.
Oh,
Is what I'm
absolutely,
hearing.
yes.
Perfect. Rob?
Yeah, I would say that it's the school district's support, again, all the way up to the superintendent. They embrace our technology council. They support what we do and how we do it. They provide for us field trip opportunities for the students to come to our facilities, see what this spring break internship and then therefore a potential apprenticeship program could potentially be for them. I think without the district's support, this probably would all fail. I think without their commitment to continue to reinvest in the programs that are at the school, this program would fail. So I think it has to have the support all the way up to the top, and I'm assuming within that budgeting accordingly and things of that nature. Because without the medals program or the culinary programs or the other areas, we wouldn't have the students to be picking from to put into these opportunities. We would be fighting amongst everybody else to try and make it work.
Awesome. So thank you. What we hear today is that businesses are really willing to be partners, but they need students who are prepared and systems that are really supportive and easy to work with. And that's what I'm hearing from both of you with the CTE programs that you have. So thank you so much for all of your willingness to share about how districts can really help get business partners to say yes in providing these internships. It's been really insightful. Here at SchoolDay, we want to partner with districts too to help them prepare students for careers. We're proud of our exclusive K-12 partnership with Coursera to offer over 60 pathways and even more. SchoolDay protects your students and staff data because the data sovereignty of our K-12 districts is critically important to us. Additionally, we provide LMS integration, professional development for CTE teachers, fast onboarding, and an included career assessment from MyInterGenius to help students find careers they're passionate about. The CTE pathways in our program are created by industry experts and provide valuable employer-recognized certifications. Students can earn certifications that will leave them well prepared for internships, which can help districts create these strong partnerships we're looking at. So we want to invite you to explore our website, schoolday.academy, to browse our over 60 CTE pathways. Options include tech, business, marketing, real estate, service industries, and more. So I encourage you to take a look at the full list online and see the great snapshot of just how many directions we can help you support your students with. On our website, you'll also see that SchoolDay Academy offers professional development that goes beyond CTE. Our professional development library is built for teachers, school leaders, IT teams, business office staff, and really anyone in a school district that wants to keep growing. The idea is we want to help schools create true lifelong learning in the culture of their school by giving staff access to on-demand, high-quality courses they can take anywhere, anytime. So I want to thank our panelists again for their insights today and invite you to start the 30-day free trial of SchoolDay Academy, the exclusive K-12 partner for Coursera, with discounted K-12 education pricing that's more than 60% off the list price from Coursera. And thank you all very much. So thank you very much, Rob. Thank you, Bryan. We appreciate all of the insights you were able to give to us today.
Thank you, Heather. It's been a joy. Bryan, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.